Greetings, one and all, and welcome to Volume 5, Episode 3 of the NFL Talk Series, team-by-team previews. Today on the show, we're keeping things in the NFC least, and we're breaking down the Philadelphia Eagles, previewing their 2016 NFL season. So, today was the day that I hoped I would get my notebook back, my notebook PC, or my 2-in-1 laptop, tablet, convertible. Goes by all those names. It's an HP Pavilion. Hopefully I was going to get that back today. I was hoping to, seeing as how I sent it in for repairs. So I received the box today, signed for it, open it up, and inside is my adapter, the charging cord. No laptop. So, safe to say I was a little bit ticked off. School is starting full swing for me this week, or I should say next week, and I really need it for then. And so, basically, to make a long story short, I'm back to broadcasting on the desktop right now. Hopefully I get it back by the end of this week. It's just kind of annoying. You'd think a huge, big business corporation like HP would be able to, keep their game up for a simple delivery, but apparently not. So I'm back to broadcasting on the desktop right now. FYI. I'm going to let you know when I get my notebook back. However, before I broadcast this, and you know what, I'll be perfectly honest, only right this minute, and this is a Monday night, or this is a Tuesday night, you'll be getting this podcast Wednesday. Only right now am I putting up the Cowboys poll that I had for yesterday. Will Dez Bryant or Tony Romo get injured this season? The options are Romo will get hurt, Dez will get hurt, neither will get hurt, and both will get hurt. You can find this poll on NFL Talk with Caleb Stein. I'll literally only put it up right now. Just saying. I'm sorry about that. But I just haven't had time. Also, just before this poll, I was watching the premiere of the new TV show on NBC, Better Late Than Never. Let me tell you, it is something else. Starring Will Shatner, Henry Winkler, George Foreman, and the Steelers' very own Terry Bradshaw. It's rather amusing. If you don't know the synopsis, shame on you. But to keep it simple, Shatner, Winkler, Foreman, and Bradshaw are taking a trip across Asia. In the season premiere, they land in Tokyo. And the craziest part about this is watching a guy like Terry Bradshaw walk down a street filled with people, with hundreds of thousands of people, the busiest intersection in the world, and not getting stopped by anyone, not getting mobbed by people, not getting mobbed by Terry Bradshaw fans. Even Foreman and Hinkler and Shatner, they just walk down the street, because obviously it's Japan. People aren't going to mug them in Japan. But fans may mug them in the United States. It's a pretty funny show. And then also about that poll, I just put it up right now. Will Dez Bryant or Tony Romo get injured this season? Romo will get hurt, Dez will get hurt, neither will get hurt, or both will get hurt. You can check that out on my Google Plus page. Be sure to do so. And then also, if you haven't checked out this week's Twitter follow, it is @OnTheBenchCBS. Pharrell on the Bench is the radio show. CBS is the radio station. 96.5 is the local station here in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Pharrell on the Bench. Scott Pharrell talks all the latest sports news. You're going to want to check him out. To be honest, you'll either love him or hate him. I love him. I hope you will too. I think you will. So that's @OnTheBenchCBS if you want to check him out on Twitter. All right. I'm going to jump right in to the Philadelphia Eagles. And I probably have the most friends that are Philadelphia Eagles fans. Or to rephrase that, the majority of my football fan friends are Eagles fans, if that makes any sense. Most of my friends that follow football like the Eagles. I am a Steelers fan. But the Eagles are a local team, so I'll pull for them when they're playing. But I know a lot of my Eagles friends are going to be listening to this one. Now, what's the quarterback situation like? You know what? We can start there. It's a good place as any to start. Let me just come out and say this. Chase Daniel is not very good. You watch him in the preseason, he has performed very poorly. And in all honesty, despite the fact that this is his 6th year in the NFL, actually, scratch that, this is his 7th year in the NFL. He's played since 2010. He is raw. Right? Many people don't realize that. He has completed 50 career passes. 50 career passes. He's thrown 1 NFL interception. He's thrown 1 NFL touchdown. We don't know what we can expect from Chase Daniels. And I think that we saw in the preseason what a lot of us expected, including yours truly, that Chase Daniels wasn't going to be anything super great. They signed him as a backup, and that's what he is. However, Carson Wentz, I think, deserves to be the number 2 quarterback to knock Chase Daniel down. Wentz has been dealing with a few sore ribs after he hurt his throwing shoulder over this past weekend. Should be fine in that scenario. But despite the many Eagles fans that are yelling for Sam Bradford to get benched and for them to start Wentz or Daniel, no. Bradford is the right way to go here. I know he hasn't been spectacular. But here's a little stat for you. He does have 78 career touchdowns with just 52 career interceptions. That's not a bad ratio for a guy like Bradford. And I know people are screaming, at least some, against Bradford, but he is the right way to go here. Bradford, in my opinion, is the definition of an average quarterback. You look at Bradford, he is average. Is average good enough? Not in a quarterback-driven league, no. Not what the Eagles would like. And I don't think he's good enough to win them the division. But he is a solid quarterback, and I truly believe that once Carson Wentz can develop himself a little more and get a few years of experience under his belt, that if Bradford's still on the team, he's going to be benched for Carson Wentz. They have a guy in Bradford that they can use, but I don't think they're expecting the playoffs in the next year or two. To be honest, I think if I am a player, or if I'm on the coaching staff of the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm not expecting a playoff berth. I'm hoping that potentially in a poor division you may get one, but I think what you're aiming for is, with Carson Wentz, is as your future. He's your dynasty quarterback. Keep an eye on Wentz. This year's not his year. This year's not the Eagles' year, but he will be good. I'll tell you what, on the Philadelphia Eagles, a position that is good. I don't love the quarterback position this year. And at least, maybe it's not spectacular, but who's a position that's very deep is the running back position. Now, I know when you look at Ryan Matthews as your number 1 running back, you might not immediately think that that's a deep running back situation. Darren Sproles is the number 2 guy, and Kenyon Barner. Is it Kenyon or Kenjon? I think it's Kenyon. He's the number 3 running back, and I've liked what I've seen from Kenyon Barner in the preseason this year. A little bit of a few stats, I'll say, on Ryan Matthews. Ryan Matthews has averaged over 4 yards a carry every season of his career except for one. This past year, he had his highest yard per carry average with a 5.0 exactly yards per tote. That was his average, 5 yards a carry. I don't think Ryan Matthews is as bad as some people think. Dealing with an ankle injury currently. But when Darren Sproles is your number 2 back, that's a good situation. Look, Sproles is something else. Since 2008, and I'm going to go back to stats because I love stats. Since 2008, Sproles has caught at least 40 passes in every season of his career. And the guy's shifty, and he's fast, and he's small. He's only 5'6". He is a problem for opposing defenses. He is the definition of a change of pace back. It's hard to game plan when you got all 3 of these running backs that may get a chance to play week in and week out. And I like what I've seen from Kenyon Barner. I think he could be a future starter for the Eagles. I like what I've seen on him. And then you got Jordan Matthews, who is a stud, I think, for the Eagles. I'm liking him this year. Nelson Aguilar is a solid number 2 guy. He struggled with drops, but he's had a couple nice plays in the preseason this year. Only 23 catches, 283 yards, and touchdown last year. Bad season for him. I think he'll jump up a little bit. Jordan Matthews dealing with a knee injury. Should be ready for week 1, though. And then Zach Ertz. You know what? If you're going to ask me, the Eagles are... I said this about Bradford. He's the definition of an average quarterback. I kind of think the Eagles are the definition of an average team. Eagles fans aren't going to like me for this one. They aren't bad, but they aren't particularly good either. Most of the players on their team, I go average. They're no Carolina Panthers, but they're no Cleveland Browns either. They're an average team. Zach Ertz, not a guy I love this year. The Eagles report that he's going to, quote, play a major role in the offense, unquote. Okay, I think that's coach speak. I think they'll have a solid defense. I like the chances for their defense this year. But they are somewhat of an average team. I do think that the future is bright because I'm looking at a few guys, and you know what? In all honesty, their receiving core is deep as well. They want to have one of the deepest receiving cores. These are the guys. Jordan Matthews, Nelson Aguilar, Chris Givens, they're starters. Nothing stands out there. Josh Huff. You got Ruben Randall, recently acquired. You got Dorial Green-Beckham. All guys, I think, can be starters in the NFL. And I like the Dorial Green-Beckham sign. And I'm looking at Kenyon Barner, Dorial Green-Beckham, and Carson Wentz as a potential trio, an outstanding trio in the future in the NFL, because those are 3 young guys that I think can make names for themselves. I don't think this is the Eagles' year, but I think that they will be a good team in the next few years. We're running out of time. Time for my X Factor and my record. And you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb here for the X Factor and give it to the Eagles' defense. In all honesty. Because I think we kind of know what to expect relatively with the Eagles' offense. I think it's the Eagles' defense that's the wild card. And for their record prediction, I'm looking at their schedule, average schedule. I think that the Eagles go 8-8. It's not good enough for a playoff berth, but they will be good in the years to come. All right, this has been Volume 5, Episode 3, and we got 10 seconds to go, so peace out, everyone. We will see you tomorrow. Don't forget to vote on the polls on Google+.